thanks so much for tuning in to another video. I'm here today with Aaron Hawk from the Vansmith, founder and CEO of the Vansmith. And this is a converted Sprinter, 144 short wheelbase with the high roof. And this has your most popular conversion package, which you call the rack and roll.
That is correct. This is the rack and roll build. Again, this is the most popular one that we do.
Things we're looking at that are not stock. We have this awning.
Yeah, so we have the Fiamma F45 Flatline.
Flatline.
It's their newer roof rack. This guy has like a collapsible catamaran. So he collapses his catamaran, sticks it once on the roof rack, and his goal is to drive around and find these beautiful lakes to take his little boat out on. So he needed a roof rack, but you know, being able to put awnings on the roof rack, you know, extra storage, your panels mount up to it really nicely. It does provide protection from hail, and it also provides a little bit of shade, so that way there's a little bit of a wind gap, and it helps keep your van a little bit cooler.
You call this a Nerf bar, which I haven't actually heard before.
Side steps, Nerf bar. These are by Luminous. These are the main ones we use. We do use flare space flares on a 144. You get the half slider. With the 170, you can get the awning style, or you know, just for the fact that this opens up and it comes really close to this. So this, I believe the flares are just unless you're a short person, which, you know, I'm also a short person, but I don't quite fit sideways in the van.
Yeah.
I think the flares are an absolute must. They are a little bit expensive. You know, paint costs a little bit. You know, I think on average you'll spend between $800 and $900 on good paint. Maybe you can find someone out there to do it for $500, $600. But to get it color matched, or we like the flat black. I think it's a good contour, kind of matches the window. The bed typically will go out to here if you went north-south.
Yeah.
But the bed, you know, butts all the way back to here. So that small area right there provides 8 square feet of extra floor space.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the efficiency that you're talking about. If you wanted to sleep north-south, or you could say fore and aft, I guess, like, you would be compromising space in the rest of your van. But this way you can sleep like that, port starboard, and save that room. So cool. So we mentioned briefly One Up and Owl, which is where you get all these components. So this is a bike rack, yeah?
Yes. So I really like these bike racks. I understand how expensive mountain bikes can be, and how many mountain bikes get stolen. So I really like this one for the fact that you do have like a bike lock that goes through both of your rims, and then I just go above and beyond, and I will actually wrap the New York Forget About It kryptonite lock. It's like a big, heavy chain lock, about $130, but and keeping them up a little bit higher out of the way, I feel like I've never had a problem with it, but you know, people are crafty. People have, you know...
Sure, I've had bikes stolen off the back of my car.
Grinders are battery powered now, you know, there's just all these tools to make this super easy to steal stuff. So it is, you know, it's something to be concerned with, and I just like, you know, getting the bikes kind of out of sight, out of mind. So the One-Ups, they work really well with the Owl. This is the B2 rack, and they bolt right on, very robust. Like, you can, you know, really crank on these things, and it's all aluminum construction. Everything's really nice, no plastic. This storage box, I love these things. Keep all the unsightlies out of your van. So like, say, leveling blocks, maybe a tool kit, collapsible toilet, your hose for filling up your water tank. So, and it's a great box.
Spare tire mount also from Owl.
There's a spare tire mount, and these are great. If you want extra water, and you live in either a warmer climate, or you're just going to be using the van during the summertime, if you remove your spare from underneath, you can get a water tank that fits inside that spot. So if you want even more space in your van, this is a great option to get your spare tire out and out from under your van with a little bit of extra water. If you ever need to get up onto your roof, it's a great option. You have 2 little steps right here on the outside, and then you can step on this as well. And one thing I like about these as well is, like, if you are loading your bikes, I usually get it's a 2-person job, and they just hand the bike up and I set the bikes right on the rack. So it's very nice to have for that reason, but I think it's great. And you have like a little lock pin right there, so you can put a lock in there and keep people from stealing your tire. But never had a problem with anyone taking my tire.
So I guess let's open up the back. Window shades.
Yeah.
Essential.
So Van Essential, they're a little newer. They're really starting to expand. Window covers are always something that are kind of difficult to get your hands on a few years back.
How are they mounted to the top of the?
It's all magnets. So the nice thing, like this whole thing just pops right off and then sticks right back on. So you can fold these things up and however they fold up.
Nice.
It's a huge thing to have window covers because you do, everyone can see in, and when the sun goes down, you can't see anything outside. So it's a little bit like, dang, I don't feel like I have any privacy.
Yeah.
A lot of people want hot water in their vans. This is the Julka Hot Tap. I love this thing. This thing is super, super cool. There's a lot of instant water heaters out there, and I truly believe that this is the best one. It comes with a mount so you can mount it directly to your door. Operates off of 2D batteries that are included, and then you can either use a green propane tank if you have an adapter, or a smaller 5-pound propane tank, and that will last a very, very long time.
Okay.
So being able to hook that thing up, you have your water connection right here.
So via hose or something, you connect to the existing tank.
And what's great, it's all quick connect.
Yeah.
So you snap those guys on there, on-off switch. So that way, you can set your shower up, set that up right there.
More magnets.
On-off. And then, hose hooks right up to the hot side, and then your cold side would just hook right up to here. You can change your water output on this side, and then the temperature here. So it's very, very basic. And once it turns on and you start using it, it'll give you your water temperature info. But thing is awesome. And if you get the upgraded version, they have a little pump, and it just plugs into a 12-volt cigarette lighter. And then you can drag a hose and drop it into say a clean stream and effectively have unlimited water.
This is the bed, obviously.
Yeah.
And this is removable, yeah?
This one is removable,
Yeah.
so we love our little beds. A lot of people, they were asking for beds that they could take out. And in our experience, most people, they don't actually do it often.
Yeah, I imagine.
So we make it available, but it's also not something where you snap your finger, bed's gone.
Yeah.
So you do have to remove your mattress,
Yep.
and it's pretty easy. You just lift up, and these wheel well cubbies have doors, and you just open the doors, and then this bed just pops right out.
Okay.
So taking the mattress out,
It's probably the hardest part.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. It's made from plywood, which is a bamboo plywood.
Oh.
And then we use 16 gauge steel tubing down here, and we get it powder coated. So it's very, very nice, very, very strong. And the beautiful thing about this, it is only 1.5 inches thick. We don't like doing a bulkhead, which is basically a wall between the bed and the living area, the garage space and the living area. I like keeping all this area open so that way in the wintertime, everything is being heated. Your water tank isn't on the brink of freezing. Your electrical system, if you don't have heated batteries, your batteries aren't on the brink of no longer accepting a charge because it's too cold.
Yeah.
So I like the openness. I have a rack and roll, and I still think I'm like, you know what, I think I want something a little bit more basic. I don't want this much stuff. I just want to be able to, I like to take my climbing gear, we have a couple folding kayaks, and then our biking stuff.
Yep.
And then when we go on a big trip, we make it a point to use all of that stuff. Like a big loop where it's we're gonna go climb this day, we're gonna go ride our bikes this day, and then the last day will be a recovery day, and we'll just take the kayaks out.
And you have it for ventilation, I guess.
Yeah.
You have holes, which you do in-house on a CNC?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
So everything here is CNC built.
Yeah.
Whenever I see someone using the table saw, I'm like, what's going on? What happened?
Okay.
And so we try to get everything done with a CNC machine, and it just really tightens up the tolerances, the potential for mistakes, and then just consistency. Overall build quality is extremely heightened with the use of the CNC machine. This is the first electrical system that we've made that utilizes the Renogy Rego system. So we're trying to contour to people's needs a little bit more and more. What most people need to do is run their lights, their refrigerator, their water pump, and charge their devices and run their fans. So it's a pretty low demand.
The basics, I guess, of power input for this system. There's shore power plug-in, right?
You have shore power.
Are there solar panels or no?
We do 180 watts of solar. We use the damp obsidian panels. They just look really slick. They're very thin.
So dedicated lithium battery, is that correct?
Yes.
For this system, but single alternator. So does that mean that while you're driving, it is powering this battery or no?
It is charging.
It is charging.
Yes.
Just using the existing alternator.
Correct.
So that alternator is doing double duty.
It is.
Yeah.
And a lot of these vans, they'll come with at least a 250 amp alternator, so there's ample power to take from your stock alternator. We try to educate on using a DC electrical system. Inverters are great, but like, don't charge your phone off your inverter. Don't charge your computer off your inverter, because you're going from 12 volt, ramps it up to 120 volts, and then it's going to bring it right back down to maybe whatever voltage that device needs to use.
So it's not efficient.
It's not efficient.
Yeah.
So you start ripping through power. I mean, you use your 110 devices when you need to power blender, household appliances, stuff like that.
So then what do you charge your phone?
I use, so we have like these little lights, little USB plugs, 12 volt sockets I charge my computer off of. And so you just get a little adapter, plug that in there, and then it's very efficient. It's just straight into the computer.
DC to DC.
Yes. So a little bit smarter that way.
All right. So obviously swivel captain's chairs, I guess, but this is stock Sprinter, isn't it?
Yeah, this is stock. And I always recommend like going stock with the swivels, because the nice thing about that is you get a shorter seat base, which is this guy right here. So these seats are the same height as, say, any stock seat. Whereas if you have a non-swiveling seat and then you put a swivel on it, it's going to lift by 1.5 inches to 2 inches.
Underneath me is a heater, right?
Yeah. We use the Webasto.
Yeah, so that ties into the existing fuel system, right?
Yes.
So that's working off the diesel tank.
Correct.
Okay.
And they're very easy to set up. We love placing them directly underneath the passenger seat. Typically there's nothing underneath the passenger seat. This is a headliner shelf from Vansmith Components. We just keep a large stock of these in place. I love these things. If you can see up there right now, that's where all the window covers are, slid up in there.
Yep.
I like them for window covers, soft goods, jackets, whatever.
Do you have to disable any factory airbags?
No.
No. Okay.
So that's a nice thing. We don't do anything that affects or compromises safety. We don't do any cutting of the frame.
That's a Lagoon mount?
Yeah. So it's a Lagoon mount. We have these specialized mounts that mount right to the side of the cabinet. They're CNC'd out of HDPE and some stainless steel, and then a bamboo track on the bottom. So this table just slides right in. No lock, anything like that.
Yeah,
and
so that's when it's not in use. That's a storage location behind the seat.
Very effective, and we have it spaced away from the refrigerator vents as well, so that way I see some companies or just DIYers, they'll just push their refrigerator into this box with no ventilation, and they're like, this fridge doesn't ever get cold.
Right, because that's where hot air comes out from the fridge.
It needs to breathe, and then inevitably the refrigerator is not going to live a full life because it's just going to be struggling to run, constantly trying to cool itself down. So make sure your refrigerator is ventilated, and it goes a long way.
I like that, just like more CNC work, for simplicity's sake, there's no external hardware, just a cutout.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
We used to use the lighter one. People would complain it's hard to open the drawer. Yeah. So you got the lighter one, and then people put too much weight in the drawer, so when they turn, it opens when you're driving. Yeah. So that's like the little payoff. So snaps shut. All the doors, except for the uppers, have those latches. The uppers do a really good job holding themselves shut. I may have a little rail in there to keep stuff from rolling out. But these little latches, they're great. And not having any handles just means you're cleanly walking through. You're not catching your pockets on any hardware. Isotherm fridge, we use the CR85 and the CR130. If you get the this is the CR85. If you get the 130, you lose this drawer right here, and it's a little bit wider. But that's a big fridge. The nice thing is you can pop this handle face off and everything around here, and you can change the face. So if you wanted to make the face match your cabinets, very easy to do so. So I think that's pretty cool, and I really like that about the isotherms. And it's just overall, it's a very quiet, very nice fridge.
Ceiling, is that cedar?
This is cedar. Our signature ceiling is going to be the cedar. It's knotty cedar. So a lot of the times you'll see exposed screws with boats. And as long as they're symmetric and in line, it looks really good. And that's kind of where we get a lot of our inspirations from the nautical world.
And countersunk.
Yes, and countersunk.
So they're flush.
Have a USB on that switch panel, and then your heater control we like to keep by the bed, so that way, like, say you're like, dang, it's hot, you don't even have to get out of bed to turn it down. The fan control is also right there. Be like, oh, it's hot or it's cold. I mean, you don't have to. Like, the main controls being near the bed, so that way you're not running around. Like, everything is deliberately placed in this van.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What would you tell yourself as an entrepreneur if you could go back and tell yourself something in 2017?
Start off as the person who's laying the groundwork. You're creating your dream, and everything is done in your vision. Like, and you're going to have to trust people to do that later on down the road, so you can focus on growing the business. Keep your books clean, record all your processes, being that everything is somewhat scripted. But if you make a mistake, like, clear it up, annotate, and don't just keep it in your head. As the business owner, you gotta be one of those people who, like, I gotta get this out of my head, all my thoughts, and so that way I can distribute to the rest of the team.
Yeah, cool. I love it. So that's the build. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more of their work, it's thevansmith.com, right? Correct. Located here in Boulder, Colorado. Yeah, thanks so much for watching.
Thank you, guys.